Matt Duchene remains the best value in the NHL. He picks up a helper and a game-winning goal in a 4-2 win over the Lightning to kick off a very important road trip for the Dallas Stars. Can they build off it tonight against the Hurricanes?
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Welcome back to another week of Locked On Stars. And once again, we will be discussing Matt Duchene and the absolute scorching start he is off to this season. Picks up a goal and an assist in a big 4-2 win on the road for the Stars, kicking off this 3-game road trip. The Stars will try to build off that tonight against Carolina, who's having some goalie troubles right now. Maybe the perfect time for the Stars to see the Hurricanes. We'll play Shooting Star before we get out of here as well on today's episode, which is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. We highlighted Matt Duchene on Friday's episode with Gavin Spittle of Spits and Suds. If you have not checked that episode out, be sure to do that after today's. And Matt Duchene has been brilliant so far this season and remains the best value in the NHL. Hal Jimnell has been able to get Duchene to sign here in Dallas for $3 million back-to-back seasons after putting up 65 points is something. But Matt Duchene wants to win number one. And he knows the Dallas Stars are a perfect opportunity for him to lift a Stanley Cup. And the way he's playing, he just looks so determined. And the juice in his legs right now, the way he is stirring the drink offensively for the Dallas Stars and his line. Tyler Seguin and Mason Marchment are different players because of him. His real value is how he's elevating others around him. He's making his line mates and who's ever on the sheet with him better hockey players at that point in time. And yeah, he scored an unreal game-winning goal the other night in Tampa. He's got to be the best at the fadeaway, left circle, elevate in tight, up under the soffit to beat a world-class netminder, as the Stars put on a clinic in the third period to get the job done against the Lightning. I thought it was a very, very competitive and very even game. A lot of fun to watch. And the Stars did an excellent job of taking out 86. You have to keep him quiet. It's now the third game he has played in where he hasn't registered points. The Lightning won a few battles in front of Ottinger early. Well, Cirelli did to score twice against Otter. Miro didn't play Cirelli the best on his second goal of the night, but the Stars got better as the game wore along. I thought they had a very solid second period. You look at the numbers, very even. Scoring chances at 5-on-5, 20 for Dallas, 16 for the Lightning. The high danger was 9 in favor of the Lightning, and the Stars had 7. Credit to Jake Ottinger. He was very, very big when Dallas needed him because it could have gotten off the rails pretty early. The Stars were a bit loose defensively. They weren't on it to begin the contest, and Otter had to come up with some massive saves to just hang Dallas in there, as you have to do on the road sometimes. And then Matt Duchene and the show took over. Started with an unreal little saucer pass on the backhand to feed Miro, who skated into it after having a tough first 5 minutes and then goes upstairs on Vasilevsky. Don't forget about the Dodonov goal to get the Stars back to level at 1 after surrendering a lead early. That was a huge goal. Labushkin with a blast from the point. Dadonov fighting for some net front space, and lo and behold, he gets a lucky bounce, lucky ricochet. It trickles in the net, and the Stars were starting to find their groove. I know they gave up the lead a few moments later, but then the Miro setup by Duchene is wonderful. I mean, the degree of difficulty on that pass is astronomical. That's like a 15 out of 10 difficulty. A backhand with a defenseman who's really just at the blue line while he's a couple of feet into the attacking zone. I mean, that's an area pass. And you had to beat a few sticks, and it just fell perfectly for Miro, who I thought had a great game outside of the 6 minutes. They're starting to play him more. He played 27 minutes last night. He's starting to be more aggressive. He's being more aggressive, which is a great sign. It helps allowing him play with Esa Lindell. It gives him that freedom, and he's starting to play more aggressive, which is a good thing. He may not pile up the points, but him being aggressive and getting shots through, creating rebounds, creating chances for others is a positive sign and something the Stars can continue to build on. But you look at the Duchene line, they ended up with 7 shots on goal. That was the most out of any other line. Of course, they had the 2 goals. I mean, the counterattack on the 3rd goal in the 3rd period was beautiful. What a find by Duchene to even drop it back to Seguin, who immediately gave it right back. And the Stars had numbers. They capitalized. That was a big, big time goal for the Stars at the time to take their first lead on the night. Seguin picks up his 9th assist. He's rocking and rolling. I mean, look at the ratings here for Duchene. This is via Hockey Stat Cards. The data is from Natural Stat Trick. His offensive rating is plus 4.0. His defensive rating is plus 0.3. And his net rating is plus 4.3. And we talked about it with Gavin last week. And Gavin made a great point. Just how determined he is defensively, too. The way he hunts after the puck. If he doesn't have it, he wants it. And he's taken a bit. He's gotten away from a lot of the stick handling, unnecessary movements. You know, we saw that a lot last season, especially in the playoffs, where there's a lot of movement, a lot of head fakes, and he wasn't necessarily getting anywhere. He wasn't putting defenders off balance. He was just almost making movements for the sake of movements. You're not seeing that as much. He still has the skill, the way he can spin and pivot quickly, but it's with a purpose. It's with a purpose to create opportunities, not just doing it for the oohs and ahs necessarily. Not saying that he was doing it for that, but it wasn't getting him anywhere. Now it's with a purpose to make things happen. He's more direct with his play. He's taking it to the net, and him, Marchman, Seguin have been incredible. They've been incredible, and not to outshine the top line, which I thought had another good night. That's 2 consecutive nights with Johnston, Johnston, Rope, and Robo. Robertson looked like himself again. He had some opportunities on the power play. A huge power play goal for the 4th of the night for Dallas. That is massive. And for as much gripes as I have had about the power play, if you can score in those moments, that's what you have to do. If you can score in those moments, you don't have to be 3 for 4 every night, right? Not what I'm asking. Can you score when you have to or when you need to? When you're up by 1 on the road, their very good player, Jay Gunsel, takes a penalty. Can you convert and pretty much close it out with a goal there? And they did. And it's off the rush. Oh, finally, Rope goes somewhere other than the 5-hole and beats Vasilevsky in full gallop. It was probably just a huge sigh of relief for him to score off the gallop like that. And great, you spread out the Lightning, the Lightning 4 attack, their 4 defenders, and Robo just hits him with speed coming right through the middle of the rink. He lifts it, elevates, celebrates. 4-2. Can he score in those moments? That's where Dallas has really lacked. It's where they've really lacked, especially on home ice. They haven't been able to muster up anything. But in those sort of moments when you need a goal, gives you some insurance, makes it easier to close out a game on the road. And they did an excellent job at 6-on-5 when Vasilevsky was pulled off, took a couple of cracks at the empty net, unable to get it to go. But a big goal for Rope, his 8th of the season. Johnston and Robertson pick up assists, so they're starting to find a groove. And more importantly, they get it on the power play. They need that thing to start moving a little bit. But a really, really even game. I thought it was back and forth. It was a fun watch. I thought both teams had some mistakes that led to some good chances, and Otter was better than Vasilevsky on Saturday night, and he looked real good. Stars get those 2 goals in the third period, and they come out victorious. Stanky looked really bright again. I mean, he had 5 shots on goal. Rope had 3. Robertson had 2. Like, these are some good signs. They were getting completely demolished on the faceoff dot. I think they were 37% in the first period. They got better. And it was a big reason why Tampa was kind of dictating the terms in that first period. They won a lot of draws. Dallas iced the puck quite a bit, so there was a lot of offensive zone starts for them. But, credit to Dallas. They picked it up in that second period, and then the third period, they just really closed it down on the road against a good team. They score a couple of goals, and you get a power play. I mean, it's big stuff, right? That's a good win, as a solid win for the Stars on the road to kick off this really, really important road trip for Dallas. So can they continue it tonight now against the Carolina Hurricanes? We will see. Fortunately for Dallas, this may be the perfect time of the season for Dallas to see Carolina right now, who's going through some goalie troubles after having a very, very good start this season. We'll dive into the Hurricanes as we preview them next in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. While I was on the couch this Sunday watching that wild special teams display by the Commanders and Cowboys, I got on the FanDuel app and I said, you know what? Let's sprinkle some money on the Cowboys. And boom, the Cowboys got a victory. So when you get that hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats on FanDuel, view live play-by-play, and so much more where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. So the Carolina Hurricanes fell to the Columbus Blue Jackets the other night, 5-4 in a shootout. They dropped to 14-5-1 on the season. They have 29 points. They're second in the Metro after a very good start to the season. They're top 5 in the NHL in terms of points percentage, but they're starting to go through some goalie trouble. If you did not see, their netminder Kochetkov, who's been very, very good to begin the season. He's 10-2-0. Save percentage over 900, 2.42 goals against average. He had a scary collision behind his net against the Blue Jackets, and it looked like he was possibly knocked out at some point. I don't want to speculate, but it looks like he's going to be out in the near future. And they have already lost Frederick Anderson, who was their backup sort of / number 1 heading into this season as well. He's out with a knee injury. So right now the Hurricanes are down a couple of netminders. So this could possibly be a good time for Dallas to see Carolina, but don't get it twisted. The Hurricanes haven't relied a ton on goaltending this season. It's been a part of why they've been good. They are scoring 3.9 goals per game. That is third in the NHL. Their goals against is 2.50, so their defense has been stout, and the goaltending has been superb as well. They're top 10 in power play percentage and penalty kill percentage. So they are all around really, really good squad. 7th in penalty kill at 83%. Their power plays rocking along at 24.2%. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10 games, but they're without Kochetkov and Anderson. So it looks like for the time being, their starter is going to be Spencer Martin. He's 29 years old. He started the season in the AHL, had a .920 save percentage across 3 games. He's gotten a couple appearances this season. His best effort was a shutout appearance against Ottawa. He has a 1-2-1 record. His numbers aren't very good, though. .870 save percentage, 3.21 goals against average. But we know that absolutely means nothing when it comes to playing the Dallas Stars. They've had some trouble with any netminder. So it really is not going to matter. And frankly, teams that are going to be down to quality starters are really going to buck up defensively and play hard in front of their 29-year-old goalie. They're going to play really hard. That's what you would expect out of a Rod Brindamore team. So Dallas is going to have their hands full, and this is not going to be a walk in the park by any stretch. They have Martin Necas. They have Sebastian Aho. Necas, by the way, you may not heard, has 33 points this season. 33 points in 20 games. He doesn't get talked about a ton, but Sebastian Aho, we know the type of player he is. So skilled, so smart. He sort of has that Kucherov quality where he knows where to be. The game's so smooth for him. I mean, their back end is so solid. They have Gostabert, who's come out, had a great little resurgence with Carolina, and you got Chatfield, you got Slavin and Burns. They're big on the back end. They're mobile, and we know the type of system that Carolina plays. It is just kind of hunker down. They like to collapse in front of their net. So Dallas, I think, will have the advantage at 5-on-5 in terms of possession. So it's about testing this goaltender. Test an inexperienced goaltender. Make him beat you. Do not make his night easy, because Carolina still has the firepower to beat you. They can strike quick. They will make you pay if you're sloppy, and Dallas has had their moments, and you don't want to get taken advantage of. Stars were without Nils Lundqvist the other night. He is on the road trip, which is a good sign. He is day-to-day with a lower body injury. We'll see if he's okay to go tonight. Brendan Smith checked in for him last game, along with Dumba, which is sort of a scary pairing. But, Labushkin and Harley, Miro and Lindell are sort of elevating this decor right now. They're trying to hold him up. So hopefully Niels will be okay to go. He was skating, which is a good sign. So all positive signs are leading towards a possible Nils Lundqvist return tonight. But yeah, Carolina is no slouch. There's a reason they're top 5 in terms of points percentage this season in the NHL. Their special teams are really good. They're good on the dots. They score a lot, and they suppress offenses. That's sort of been their MO this season. So it's another great test for Dallas, an interesting one on the road where they've won 3 straight now, won 3 straight away from the American Airlines Center. Of course, they had a historical year away from Dallas last season. They don't need to necessarily replicate that, but be somewhere in the vicinity, and Stars are going to be a side to mess with. That's for sure. It is pretty remarkable too. And what I loved with my chat with Gavin Spittle is I was like, yeah, it was nice to have somebody on. Need to hear somebody else's perspective. Sometimes I get riled up, as you know. I think it's justified sometimes, but I get a little riled up. Got to take a breath. It's November. Stars are going to get there. But Dallas is 3rd in the Central at 26 points. And, they would be tied for 1st in the Atlantic. And they would be tied for second in the Pacific with 26 points. So, it's don't kill them because, the Winnipeg's gotten off to a historical start. Minnesota's come running out of the gates. They're dealing with some injuries. It looks like Kaprizov will not be out long term, which is a good sign. He had an MRI the other day and it came back negative. So, we're just gotta deep breaths. The Stars are building. They're picking up momentum. And that was a solid effort the other night against Tampa. We'll see how they fare against the Hurricanes, which I think has been it's been a decent place recently for Dallas. Besides, I think they got ran out of the building one night. I think Otter got pulled, or maybe it was Wedgwood. It was not a pretty night. I can't remember what season that was, but maybe a good time to see Carolina with some goalie trouble. Sometimes you run into teams at a bad time, possibly like when the Stars saw Winnipeg here a few weeks ago, and Winnipeg just absolutely buried them. And Winnipeg has pretty much done that to everybody they faced this season. Okay, with that in mind, and with tonight's contest against the Hurricanes in your frontal lobe, on Victory Plus, puck drop at 6 o'clock. I love these East games. Get done a little sooner. Now time for Shooting Star. Let me know who your MVP for tonight's game should be in the comments below. I'll share mine in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. Go ahead and get PrizePicks, download it on your smartphone. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. You can get in on the hockey action. Jack Hughes, more than 4 shots on goal. Artemi Panarin, more than 1 assist. Those are the types of actions you can have. Also, there's a Thanksgiving deal for the football slate. Thanksgiving free square. Tyreek Hill only needs to receive half a receiving yard for the projection to hit. If you're correct on at least one more stat projection, you can win real cash. So download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. It is time for Shooting Star on a Monday edition of Locked On Stars. I'm buzzing off the weekend. Called 3 games this past week. Thought I wasn't going to have a voice for today's pod, but I have rallied and I'm feeling good. Back home for Thanksgiving. I hope you wonderful Stars fans and Locked On Stars listeners enjoyed your weekend, are ready for a fantastic Thanksgiving meal with family and friends. Let me know your favorite Thanksgiving food in the comments below. I would love to hear, along with your Shooting Star pick. Why not? Let's combine Stars player and some Thanksgiving food. I'll go with my favorite Thanksgiving meal first. I'm a big stuffing guy these days. You asked me at 14, I wouldn't have said that. I would have been all about the sweet potatoes and the marshmallows on top, just because I just basically scraped off the marshmallows, but turned into stuffing guy. And it's sort of my go-to these days. Anyways, I digress. Now time for a Shooting Star pick, for which you all came for tonight's contest against the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm going with Stanky. I don't know if I've even picked Stankoven this year. Let me see. I've picked him just once. That is a damn shame. I'm going with Stanky in Carolina, where he made his NHL debut a season ago. I think I'm correct on that. In February, he was called up in Carolina. I'm going with Stankoven. Has a big night. A couple of goals. Why not? A multi-point effort for number 11. And hopefully the Stars come out victorious over the Hurricanes and take 2 out of the first 3 on the road trip. So that's my shooting star pick. Let me know yours in the comments below, and be sure to vote via the YouTube community tab. Thank you for all the support on that and the responses. I have them on a spreadsheet. Don't you worry. I'm keeping them tabs on them. We're going to see who got more correct at the end of the season, me or you wonderful listeners. Newsflash, it will be you guys. I've been absolutely atrocious this season so far, but that's okay. That's okay. That is okay. I don't want to be right anyways. I never do. Okay, that wraps up a Monday edition of Locked On Stars. Please be sure to subscribe. Almost to 2,500 subscribers. Hit the notification bell, like, comment. We'll be back tomorrow to break down this wonderful hockey game tonight. So enjoy it on Victory Plus. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, and so long, Stars fans.